What's going on everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. And in this video, as promised, we will be doing an updated ranking video for the reinforcements in Battlefront 2. So we're going to be ranking all of Battlefront 2's reinforcements from the worst to the best. Now this is of course going to include the brand new Clone Commando, who is becoming a rapid favourite to many players at the moment. Now we'll of course take into account the latest nerfs and the latest buffs, as this list is going to be very different from ones I have done in the past. Now if you guys want to see me rank all of Battlefront 2's game modes from worst to best, be sure to drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments below, as we did get 2 brand new game modes in the latest update, one of which is getting massive amounts of praise across the community. So yeah, if that's something you guys want to see, then be sure to let me know. And if you are new around here, then absolutely feel free to subscribe to the channel for more, as we are so close to 30,000 subscribers. We're like 160 subs away or something. And it's been my goal since the start of September to hit that by the end of the month, and we are so close, guys. Now anyway, these rankings are of course just in my opinion. If you disagree, let me know why in the comments. But anyway, let's dive into these rankings, and starting off as the worst reinforcement in Battlefront 2, we have the Flame Trooper. Now the Flame Trooper, in my opinion, is just the worst reinforcement in the game for many reasons. They are extremely limited to their use. They are literally only useful in very, very close combat. You can't use them at medium to long range at all. And because it's up close or nothing, I can't put them above any of the other reinforcements in the game, because all of the other reinforcements can do damage at range. The Flame Trooper simply just can't. But on the other hand, they can be very annoying for heroes to take down, because their flames do take up the entire screen. Now, how this might be fixed, I think the Flamethrower maybe needs a small damage and range buff. The Incendiary Exploder isn't half bad, that's totally fine. The Overload and Fortify are totally fine abilities again, as they are just with all Enforcers. So just for me, the Flame Troopers just fall short. They are way too situational, and for that reason I just can't put them any higher. But coming in at number 9 are the Jump Troopers, except the Jet Trooper, because we'll get to him later in the video. Now all of these Jump Troopers are all decent. I absolutely love the Rocket Launcher Jump Pack combo. It takes me back to the Battlefront 2015 days. Now all of them are relatively the same in terms of how good they are, obviously except for the Jet Trooper, hence why it's not getting ranked alongside these guys. But the only real differences between each of these Jump Troopers is their blaster, and for me, none of them really stick out too much, and they're all just kind of good. Not great, just good. But now moving on to the number 8 spot, we have the B2 Super Battle Droid. Now the B2 Super Battle Droid is a very solid reinforcement. The Overload and Fortify benefit them very well. Their main blaster damage is okay, it's not amazing, but it is still pretty good. But for me, they just don't seem very maneuverable, like they're just not maneuverable enough. They are good for long hallways to spam Overload, and the Wrist Rocket is really good, but it is harder to get direct kills with them because you obviously can't get them from above. But you still have to watch out for those Wrist Rockets. But for me, in my opinion, it just does not beat out any of the ones above it. But now, on to number 7, we have the Wookiee Warrior. Now the Wookiee Warrior used to be the best reinforcement in the game, like no questions asked. But it has been a long fall from grace for them. They have been nerfed countless times. For a long time there, they were way better than Chewie, and they were the option for the light side. The Bowcaster is super unforgiving and has absolutely abysmal range. But with Overload, the Bowcaster actually isn't too bad, and you can kind of do stuff from range with it. But up close, the Bowcaster shreds, so I mean, I can't really complain about that. Now the Thermal Imploder is a great ability. It's not as good as it used to be, but it is still a great ability, and definitely the reason most people actually pick the Wookiee Warrior. The Fortifier comes in extremely handy, and I used to honestly prefer these guys over Chewie, like completely. But that is of course not the case anymore. Their biggest flaw for me is their hitbox and their Bowcaster. The hitbox is absolutely huge because they obviously are quite tall, and the Bowcaster is very unforgiving and doesn't have great range. So the Wookiee Warriors, they're not great, but they're not terrible. And coming into the number 6 spot now is the Droidecar. Now this one's going to be controversial. I know that some people love the Droidecar, some people hate the Droidecar, so I've sort of put them in the middle here. The Droidecars are great for getting to the objectives fast in capital supremacy ship phases to defend or attack, more so for attacking. Now I do think the Droidecars maybe need a small damage and or range buff on their blaster fire. Also their shield, if it gets hit with an imploder, it normally is pretty much a one-shot deactivation. Now this obviously leaves you dead vulnerable because the formation change for the Droidecars is way too slow. I've lost count of the amount of times I've died before the Rolly Boy mode is activated, and I'm sort of just sitting there in transformation and I just get absolutely shredded. But their biggest upside is without a doubt their maneuverability when rolling. It is just amazing. They can go so fast, you can cover the entire map in absolutely no time at all. And you can still damage blocking heroes, so that is a massive plus for the droidicars. So overall, the droidicars have big upsides, but they've also got pretty big downsides as well. But at the halfway mark now at number 5 is the ARC Trooper. Now when these guys dropped, they were the best reinforcement in the game, no questions asked, and that is why they got a very considerable nerf. Now they are still good, but they just aren't in the great category in my opinion. The dual wielding blaster damage is more than exceptional, they can absolutely shred, and the shock trap, while situational, it does have its uses. Now the ARC Trooper when it was released had a pretty much aimbot secondary fire, if you want to call it that. But now for me, it is just way too weak. It very rarely even one-shot specialists, I swear. But overall, I just have to say that the ARC Trooper is pretty much a middle-of-the-road reinforcement. Hence why it is directly in the middle of my rankings. Now moving on to the number 4 spot is the very exceptional Clone Jet Trooper. Now, it's weird, but a lot of people are actually calling for this guy to be nerfed. Their blaster is monstrous for a jump trooper. It absolutely melts infantry and heroes, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons as to why people are calling for the nerf is their blaster. But on top of that, you combine it with their maneuverability with the jetpack, it's just a huge plus. The rocket launcher, again, combined with the jetpack is more than exceptional. Whilst you can't go on massive kill streaks with these guys, you know, just casually, but if you go into full sweat mode, you can absolutely tear it up with the Clone Jet Trooper. It, for me, is honestly the biggest mover in terms of reinforcements. I didn't even rank these guys by themselves last time, so they have massively improved. But now, onto the number 3 spot is the Death Trooper. Now, the Death Troopers were actually the runner-up last time I ranked reinforcements. They are personally one of my favourite reinforcements to use. They have a great blaster, and they can melt heroes very easily. They for me are just one of the more well-rounded reinforcements. There's really nothing wrong with them at all. They should never get nerfed and they should never be buffed from here on out. They should honestly just be kept how they are. Like I said, the blaster is great and the fortify and overload abilities complement the way the Death Trooper should be played. As for the Sonic Imploder, I used to think that it was quite an average ability, but it is actually like really good. The fact that you can deal damage and basically have Ray's Insight in Imploder form. It's a pretty cool ability to have. And on top of that, they are cool as hell. I just wish that Director Orson Krennic was alongside them, because that would just make them even better. But the runner-up at number 2 is the Commando Droid. Now the Commando Droid is a great reinforcement, and the former number 1 on my reinforcements rankings. The Vibra Swords are so unique, and they can take on lightsaber heroes, which alone makes the Commando Droid just absolutely exceptional from most of the other reinforcements. The fact that you can actually go toe-to-toe with a lightsaber hero with the Commando Droid, I mean, you can't not fault that. Now as for their blaster, it is very satisfying, although it is annoying how much you have to lead your shots. The smokescreen and thermal vision is a really good and actually very underrated combination. It's kind of like Lando's smokescreen with his X8 Night Sniper. They work together in a very deadly way, it's just a lot of people don't tend to use it. Because when it's used properly, you won't even see the Commando Droid coming, and if he gets too close, you're pretty much done for because of the Vibro Swords anyway. So if you play the Commando Droid right, they are almost unstoppable for a reinforcement at least. They're obviously not hero level in terms of unstoppable, but for a reinforcement they are very good. Their enhanced dodging and jumping compared to other reinforcements as well makes them a cut above the rest, and yeah, I love the Commando Droids. DICE done a really good job with them. But coming out on top at number 1 as the best reinforcement in Star Wars Battlefront 2 is the Clone Commando. Now the Clone Commando is the new kid on the block and is so fun to use. Now I'm just going to say this because people may, bring this up, but these guys are not at number 1 just because they are the new reinforcement. And the fact that they are incredibly unique to use just makes them really fresh and exciting. They basically have like a baby force push with the repulsor blast. That is nothing like any of the other reinforcements. Now the Clone Commandos are actually very good against heroes. The battle focus maybe is a little bit too OP and could do a little nerf. Apparently the damage reduction for the battle focus is actually bugged, and it's supposed to be 25%, but at times it's actually 50%. So if you're ever absolutely rinsing a Clone Commando and you're not doing as much damage as you think you should, that may be the reason why, but honestly, who even knows if it's a bug at this point. Now, the anti-armor attachment is actually one of my favorite features of any reinforcement in the entire game. It honestly makes me happy. We get to destroy vehicles with it, and I love that. Not to mention the fact that the anti-armor attachment also completely wrecks infantry and heroes. If there's one downside to the Clone Commando, it has to be that the blaster could go a small range buff. It's not quite the best at range. It is serviceable, but it's definitely not as good as it probably should be. But up close, it is more than okay. It absolutely shreds, and you know what? Nothing to complain about if it's up close. But overall, I believe the Clone Commando is the new top dog and the best reinforcement in Star Wars Battlefront 2. But that is of course just my opinion. So guys, what do you all think of these rankings? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Now, we aren't getting any new reinforcements until the Rise of Skywalker content in December, which we might end up getting Sith Troopers. So I will of course re-rank the reinforcements by then, because hopefully we'll have the new reinforcements and there'll be a lot of bug, nerfs and changes, so the rest will change around too. But guys, be sure to smash a like on this video if you did enjoy, and if you are new around here, then be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Battlefront 2 content. I will most likely have a game mode ranking video coming in the next couple of days, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. But that is going to wrap this video up, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you all for watching, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you all again real soon.